Victory for Celtic last night in Lisbon, and what a way to wrap up the Portuguese tour. 2 goals, a clean sheet, and plenty to talk about. Not just about the football, but the vibe, the energy, the fitness, the new faces, and a few unexpected moments. That show exactly what kind of group Brendan Rodgers is shaping. It finished Celtic 2 Sporting 0. Hatate from the spot calm as you like, and then a pure counter-attack finish from McCowan that had folk comparing him to the best in the business. And honestly, there was something about the way we played from back to front that gave off the feeling we're a lot closer to being ready for the season than maybe some have been giving us credit for. Let's be real though, this was a friendly. It's not about the scoreline, but there's a big difference between getting through a preseason match and actually showing something, and Celtic showed plenty. There was shape, there was cohesion, there was intent, and if anyone needed proof of the intensity Brendan's trying to bring back into this side, you just needed to look at what Dyson Maida was up to after he got subbed off. The man came off after running himself into the ground, and instead of collapsing on the bench like any normal person, he starts dropping to the turf and banging out press-ups. You ever seen anything like that? 70 minutes of full tilt running, and the guy still thinks, a bit more to give here. That's not normal behavior, that's elite mindset. And it's exactly the type of attitude this squad's gonna need if we want to go toe-to-toe in Europe and dominate domestically again. Now onto the football itself. The starting lineup was just about as close to full strength as we could manage at this stage. Schmeichel in goal, solid, composed, and showing once again why he's more than just a big name. In front of him, we had Ralston, Murray-Scales, and Tierney making up the back four. Midfield was McGregor holding with Negron and Hatate just ahead of him, and the front three had Forrest wide right, Maida left, and Eder through the middle. And listen, it might be preseason, it might be early days, but that midfield 3, that's looking more and more like the one Brendan trusts. Hatate and Negron were absolutely everywhere, and McGregor's presence just keeps everything ticking. What stood out early on was the composure under pressure. Sporting came flying out the blocks, pressing high looking to unsettle us. But lads played through it. There was one moment about 10 minutes in where they had 3 or 4 men swarming inside our box and we still passed our way out. Calm as you like. Schmeichel rolls it. Dane Murray picks the right pass. Negron turns into space and suddenly we're on the move. That kind of sequence might not lead directly to a goal, but it shows the team's not afraid to trust the process. We're not lumping it long and hoping for the best anymore. Talking about Negron, what a player he's looking like. Still new, still settling in, but already looks like he's going to be a massive part of this team. He's calm on the ball, but what impressed me most was his awareness. He knows when to press, when to drop, when to play quick, when to take a touch. And him alongside Hatate, well, that's a partnership worth getting excited about. The movement, the understanding, even the way they both hunt the ball when out of possession. It's relentless. And having McGregor anchoring behind him just gives it that bit of balance. It feels like Brendan's trying to recreate that midfield engine. Room that dominated a few years back. Early days, but the signs are there. One of the interesting things was seeing Hatate's positioning. A few times, especially in the first 20 minutes, he was pushing right up alongside Eder, almost playing as a second striker when we were out of possession. It might have been to press higher, or maybe to cut off Sporting's deep playmaker, but it worked. He was causing problems, and when he dropped back into midfield, he didn't lose rhythm at all. That kind of tactical flexibility is going to be huge for us this season. Now we need to talk about Eder. I know there's been a lot said already, and I'm not here to pile on, but it's a bit of a concern. It's not just the missed chances, although there were a couple of those. It's the link-up play, the first touch, the decisions under pressure. There was one moment in the first half where we played out, beautifully worked it into his feet, and he just kind of lost it. Heavy touch gave the ball away. Momentum gone. Brendan said after the match, he needs to come alive. You can't be caught thinking at this level. And he's right. That split second of hesitation can be the difference between creating something and giving it away. Look, I still think there's a good striker in there somewhere. Maybe he just needs more confidence. But with the season coming fast and the Champions League looming, we can't afford maybes. We need end product. McCowan, though, different story. Came on second half and made an immediate impact. The second goal, wow, that was classy. Quick break, great movement, timed his run to perfection, and the finish cool as you like. You can see why Brendan's been giving him minutes, And Johnny Kenny deserves a mention too. His energy, his involvement in both goals, his positioning, probably the best we've seen him so far. And that's what you want to see in preseason. Players pushing for a place, making it hard for the manager to ignore them. Another young player who caught the eye was Dane Murray. Now there's a lad who's bulked up since we last saw him properly. Looks stronger, more composed, and he's clearly got confidence in his passing. He had a few line-breaking passes that really set the tone, and defensively he was solid. We've got a lot of center backs in the squad, but if he keeps playing like that, he might just earn himself a proper role this season. Not just cup games or late subs, but genuine minutes. You can see there's a group forming here. There's belief. For all the noise surrounding the club right now, talk of signings, outgoings, frustrations about transfers, the players themselves seem laser focused. That's credit to the coaching, staff, and the environment Brendan's building. And if we can add just a bit more quality, especially up front and out wide, we'll be in a strong position. Johnson and Carter Vickers coming back will make a massive difference defensively, and Tierney's already starting to show flashes of his old self. He's not quite at full pace yet, but the way he travels with the ball, that driving run down the flank, it's something we've missed. No disrespect to Greg Taylor, who's done well, but Tierney just brings another dimension. Still, we can't kid ourselves. The depth needs work. Right now, you're an injury to James Forrest away from Marco Tilio starting a Champions League qualifier. And while Tilio's got talent, he's clearly not in Brendan's plans long term. That's the worry. And the first 11 is good. The bench, not quite there. We need a couple of signings with real quality. Not projects, not punts. Proven players who can come in and make a difference straight away. Because we've seen what happens when we go into big matches undercooked. The good news, Brendan knows this. He said himself post-match that the club's still looking to bring in players to replace the goals we've lost. Yamada's coming in. Could be a smart bit of business. He's got energy, work rate, and experience. But he's not Kyogo. Not yet. And we're still short in that number 9 spot. Eda's not the full answer, Kenny's unproven, and Osman's a total unknown at this level. We're gambling a bit. That might pay off, but it might not. And if it doesn't, we can't be sitting in September saying we should have acted sooner. There's another match coming up soon. Newcastle at Celtic Park. That'll be a proper test. English Premier League opposition, big crowd expected, and a real chance to see where we are fitness-wise. Plus, we're getting close to those Champions League qualifiers now. The draw's coming. The serious business is nearly here. So the sporting match was a positive step. There's a lot still to be done, but the signs are promising. That midfield trio could be the key. The return of our defensive leaders will solidify the back line. And if we can just find the right man to lead the line to finish off the chances this team is creating, then we might just be looking at a Celtic side ready to make some real noise again at home and in Europe. Now, beyond the match itself, there's been a lot happening around Celtic this past week. From transfers to interviews, from speculation to straight up facts. Brendan Rodgers has been busy, the squad's taking shape, and the fans are still waiting on a few more dominoes to fall before we can all say with any confidence that we're ready for the season ahead. One of the biggest bits of news is that Shen Yamada is on his way. He said his goodbyes in Japan. The fans at Kawasaki Frontale had a farewell banner with the Scotland flag on it. So there's no doubt he's heading to Celtic. Brendan confirmed he's having his medical, and then they'll assess him once he arrives. He spoke about Yamada's work rate, his intensity, and said he's one they hope can add a bit of bite and directness to the attack. Still, Rodgers was clear. This is about developing players, but also bringing in ready-made ones. And even though Yamada's older than a typical project, signing the expectation is that he contributes right away. So it sounds promising, but it also raises a few eyebrows. Because if we're being honest, we're not short of strikers numerically. We're short of quality in that area. There's a difference. Right now, we've got Eda, we've got Kenny, we've got Osman, now we've got Yamada coming in, and there's even talk that we're going for one more. That's potentially 5 forwards fighting for one position and not a clear standout among them. Eda's frustrating Kenny's still developing Osman is a total unknown at this level. And Yamada, well, fingers crossed he hits the ground running. It's a bit of a gamble. And you kind of get the feeling the club is doing what they've done in the past, signing a bunch of players hoping 1 or 2 come good. It's scattergun and it's risky. Take Osman, for example. The lad's raw. Physically gifted, got a bit of presence about him, but completely untested. If he stays, he's probably third choice striker, which is fine. But then you gotta wonder, are we really going into Champions League qualifiers with a kid who's never played at this level as one of our main backup options? The idea had been floated that he might go out on loan, but nothing's been confirmed, and he can't play for the B team, which complicates things. So he either sits around getting the odd cup game, or he's on the bench in massive European ties. That's a bit mental if you think about it. And speaking of players on the fringes, Marco Tilio came up in the post-match chat as well. Aussie lad, full of potential, but let's be real, he's not breaking into this team anytime soon. When he got his chance, he made a good run, but then fluffed the final pass. That's the margin at Celtic. You get one chance, you gotta make it count. Especially when you're fighting for a spot behind guys like Forrest, Maida, Yang, and even the new signings. The suggestion now is that he goes out on loan. And I think that's the right move. Send him to Hibs or another Scottish Premiership side. Let him play, let him prove himself. Maybe he comes back a better player, more ready for the demands of Celtic. Right now, he's not there. No shame in that. Some players need time. And like they said on the show, there's no need to punt him back to Australia. He wants to make it. In Europe, let him try. Now on the other side of that coin, you've got Johnny Kenny, a lad who came on, worked hard, and got involved. In both goals, by the way. Especially the second. Started the move, smart run, clever body shape to draw the defender in, laid it off at the right time. McCowan finishes it and rightly gets the praise, but Kenny was key. That's how you stay in the conversation. When opportunities are limited, you make the most of them. Will he be a regular starter? Probably not. But can he be a solid squad player? Someone who gives energy off the bench? Someone who comes in and gets the job done when needed? He can. And you can see Brendan's thinking. He wants players that fit a system, not just big names or flash. Signings. Look at the midfield trio, Negron, Hattad, and McGregor. That's a real unit now. And you got the likes of Bernardo Engels and McCowan coming on behind him. That's where we've got strength. That's the part of the park where we can't afford to rotate without losing rhythm. It's the wide areas and up top where we're still paper thin. Especially when you consider injury suspensions or just rotation during a long season. Let's not forget, James Forrest isn't going to play every match. He's 33 now. He's had injury issues in the past, and you could already see against Sporting that he took a few knocks. If we're relying on him to be the main man on the right wing all season, we're setting ourselves up for trouble. Same with Maida. Brilliant work rate, but what if he goes down? Then what? Yang's still inconsistent, Tilio isn't ready, and there's nobody else waiting in the wings. That's a problem. And it's the same at centre-back. If Carter Vickers isn't fit and say Scales or Murray gets a knock who steps in, we might be looking at a Champions League qualifier with Dane Murray starting. Not ideal, even though he's showing promise. Brendan mentioned that Lewis Palmer will probably go out on loan. No surprise there considering he's not even back with the squad yet. There's clearly been a breakdown there. Maybe it's fitness, maybe it's attitude, who knows. But again, it's a body leaving the squad, another winger out, and no replacement through the door. We can't be letting guys go without having quality lined up to come in. Otherwise, we end up in a situation where we're an injury or two away from being completely exposed. And that brings us back to transfers. Brendan's been up front. He wants more. He knows we're light. He said it publicly, but the club needs to back him. We're not just playing for another domestic title. We've got European football to think about. And we all saw what happened last season when we went in undercooked. It doesn't matter how dominant you are in Scotland. If you don't have that extra gear for Europe, you'll get found out. So yeah, the midfield's looking solid. The defense will look better when Johnson and Carter Vickers are back. But we still need a striker, a proper winger, maybe even another center half. It's not just about starting 11s anymore. Football is a squad game. You win titles and trophies over 9-10 months, and you need options. You need guys coming off the bench who can change a game. And right now, we've got some good young talent, but we're lacking experience and proven quality in certain areas. You look at clubs like Newcastle, who we're playing next, and you see what we're up against. That match will be a big test. English Premier League intensity, real opposition, and hopefully a good turnout at Celtic Park. Should be around 10,000 Newcastle fans making the trip, which is mad but shows the scale of the challenge we're stepping into. And look, there's been a lot of noise from the fans, understandably so. Season ticket holders being asked to pay again for the Newcastle match, frustrations around transfer strategy, lack of communication from the board, it all adds up. But the players in Portugal, they looked sharp, they looked focused. You wouldn't know there was any off-field drama. That's a credit to the staff, and it's a sign that the dressing room's still strong. So we just need that bit of help from upstairs now. Bring in the right pieces, build on what's already a solid base, and let Brendan work his magic. One last thing to mention, Champions League qualifiers are getting close. First round's done, no big shocks. Ludogorets, Malmo, Bucharest all through. Still a few rounds to go before we find out exactly who we'll face, but the clock's ticking. The playoff draw is coming in a couple of weeks, and we need to be ready. We can't be scrambling for signings the week before a massive tie. We've been here before. It never works. Let's not repeat the same mistakes. And look, we know how it goes. Preseason always brings out the worst fears. A couple of bad results, no signings, and folks start panicking. But you got to judge it on the pitch. Against Sporting, we looked organized, composed, and hungry. The new lads are selling, the returning faces are getting sharper, and Brendan's got a clear plan. But he needs support. This team is close. But close isn't enough. Get the right bodies, and this could be a really exciting season. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. There's a growing buzz around Parkhead this week, and if the whispers are to be believed, Celtic may be on the verge of securing one of the most exciting young attacking prospects in Italian football. The name on everyone's lips? Giuseppe Ambrosino. That's right. The Hoops are rumored to have quietly tied up a deal for the talented Napoli forward, and the green and white faithful are already dreaming of what he could bring to Brendan Rodgers' front line. While nothing has been officially confirmed by the club, sources close to the situation suggest that talks have progressed swiftly in recent days, with Ambrosino reportedly eager to test himself outside of Serie A. The 21-year-old striker, hailed in Italy as a future Azzurri star, is known for his intelligent movement, sharp finishing, and a flair that's rare to find in such a young player. It's said that Celtic moved decisively to beat off interest from several other European sides, keen to offer the forward not just playing time, but the chance to shine in European competition. Insiders say Rodgers sees Ambrosino as more than just a squad player, potentially even a central figure in his new-look attack, with the boys looking to bolster their firepower for another tilt at domestic dominance and a stronger showing on the European stage. A move for a promising striker. Like, Ambrosino makes all the sense in the world. He may not be a household name yet, but those who've watched his development in Italy insist he could be a star in the making. Of course, in the ever-spinning rumor carousel of football, nothing is certain until the scarf is held aloft on the Celtic way. But make no mistake, this chatter has more than a hint of smoke behind it. If the deal goes through, it could prove to be a masterstroke from the Celtic board and a real statement of intent ahead of the new season. Watch this space, Celtic fans. The boys might just have pulled off a belter. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.